Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So I've got my tag journals out. Now I'm not actually going to be making a tag or a mixed media tag today. I'm actually going to prepare and create a new tag journal for 2020. Now I'm going to make a new journal because I'm going to be doing more tags on a regular basis, but I've been asked about this size tag journal before. Now this particular tag journal was sent to me many years ago by a friend, and when I got to the end of the tags that were actually included in the pack with it, which there were quite a few, I just used the covers of the tag journal, which were clear acrylic, as a template to create more tags out of watercolour cardstock or grunge board or whatever material. Like in this case, I made one out of corrugated cardboard. Just use that as a template. So what I thought I would do for 2020, for next year, because I'm going to be doing some more and I need a new tag journal for next year, is I'm going to create the covers today using a new Digi download I've put together, because I know you guys out there would also like to know the sizing and also like to play along and art along with me. So what I've done is I've created a set of 3 new tag journal covers. So I've done 3 different themes. So you've got one which is kind of like a vintage travel type. I've done another which is more of a florally kind of one for you girls out there that like, boys, that like your florals, your butterflies and your flowers. And I've also done kind of like a plain grungy one that you can decorate up to your heart's content. That's also got some reinforcing decorations in a kind of steampunky or old-fashioned kind of way. So the size of these, they're not anything spectacular, they're not odd, they're 8 inches by 4 inches. And that's exactly how I've done the covers. So the easiest way for me to show you how to do these and to use your covers later on as a template is to show you how I'm going to put the tag journal together. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to cut out, I think I'm going to use this one, only because I like the maps. So I'm going to just cut these out. Once I've cut those out, I'll be right back. I'll show you what punch fits these, because I've made it a bit easy for you. So I'll show you those once I've actually cut the rest of it out. Okay, so I've quickly just cut those out of the sheet of paper. My knife of choice is a scalpel. I just like to use those. I've used scalpels all my for the past 10-20 years since I've actually been doing crafting, so I'm just used to using it, but obviously you can use whatever craft knife or even just a pair of scissors if you want. Okay, so the hole reinforcers, they're just an inch punch, so they should fit with a little tiny little bit of a border all the way around. There we go, that's better. I can actually get to the edge of it now. Maybe not even a smidge. There we go. I'll do that one and I'll do the other compass version, because of course we are going to grunge these up. Okay, so like I said, just a standard inch punch, and you can see that they punch out pretty decent. And then for the actual cover, I think, or the cover, the label on the front, I'm just going to quickly cut that out with a pair of scissors. I'm going to use the one with the pointy fingers, only because I like the ones with the pointy fingers. Just choose, well, there's 6 different tag labels to go on the front. So just choose the one that you like the most. Just mix and match. If you like the florals, use the floral covers, but if you like one of the other tag labels, use that. Or don't bother. Just don't bother putting one on at all if you don't want to. Or create your own. Easy enough. So there's that many different like alphabet stamps and stuff out there at the moment. You can pretty much just customise to taste really. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Printer. Just doing its own thing there. I'll put the other bits to one side. Okay, so these are going to be, so that'll be my hole reinforcer, which should fit up top, like so. So just stick that right up towards the point, so it's flush, and then you can just punch out. Easy as 3.14. Haha. Some of you will know what I'm talking about. Right, okay, so, but they're a bit flimsy for a cover. So what I'm going to do is, using some cardboard that I reclaimed from an old dog food packet, which is quite nice, thick craft card, as opposed to the grey board. Or, if you wanted to, you could use grey grunge board. This is the sort of stuff that I use for my handmade journal covers. It is quite thick, but you can get different thicknesses in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, now then, can I get 2 out of 1 on this? Probably not. No, they're too big to fit, or to get 2 out of 1, so, which is a bit of a shame really. It's just the size of the packets though. Yeah, didn't think so, which is fine. I can just use the offcuts for sticking my tag or the label down on. Okay, so glue wise, I did buy some new glue. So I've got some Anita's tacky glue here, which I haven't used yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the edge. I'm hoping this stuff doesn't warp the card. That should do us, I think. And then stick that. Actually, let's do it that side. That way we've got the craft on the inside. So I'll stick that down there. I'm just going to bring that down towards the bottom so I don't have to cut those edges. Just line it up with the edge of the card, so that when it dries, I've only got to cut that bit and I don't have to cut those edges. Okay, so I'm just going to go over that with a brayer just to make sure that there's no air bubbles in there. I'm definitely not going to be able to get the other one out of that. That's fine, just put that to one side for drying and bring the other sheet in and do the same thing. So once you've actually created your covers, you can use them then as templates. Each time you want to create a new tag, you just use your front cover as a template to create your tag base. Couldn't be easier. Right, so this one I'll do it this side. Only because I know that side is straighter than that side. A little bit of wiggle room, don't need a lot. I'll just go over it again with the brayer, just to make sure there's no air bubbles. So I'm going to leave them to dry for about 5 or 10 minutes and then I'll be right back. Okay, so these are pretty much dry now. I've also just stuck that label just on the card as well. And while I was waiting for those to dry, I just stuck those reinforcers onto another piece of white cardstock. I did actually try and punch out of this cardstock, but it wouldn't go through. It's just the punch just wasn't strong enough to go through this cardstock. So it's not a problem. So all I need to do now is to cut these out of this cardboard. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then just grab my other cutting mat. There we go. And then I'll just pop this on fast forward and just whiz through it. And I'll join you when I'm done. Okay, so they're now cut out, all nicely done. Lovely and rigid. Now I did just catch the edge. It obviously wasn't quite as dry as it should have been, but that's fine because we can decorate that up. We can just edge that, no problem. So the next thing to do is to add the hole reinforcers. So don't worry about the holes or anything, because you're going to be taking your cue or your guide from the reinforcing rings. So I'll just stick some glue down on there, turn that over, and then we can position that. Actually, before we do that, what I should have done is just quickly gone around the edge. So I'll just try and do that without getting glue everywhere. Oh, do you know, it's one of those days today. My brain is working faster than my hands. Okay, so just add a little bit of Distress ink around there. It just grunges that edge up a little bit. Still got the glue on there, so we can just drop that down, push it so it goes all the way up. Just hold it with your fingers so it's just in line with the top edge up there, and then stick that down. So I'll just quickly whip around with some Distress ink on that one just to get rid of those white edges. And we'll vintagify it up. That's a great word, isn't it? Vintagify. To make look old. Ish. A bit of glue. And then of course if you wanted to, you could swap or wherever. If it was south, if you wanted to, at the top. Drop that down, and then again just position it, push it up with your fingers, and then let that sit and grab for a few minutes. But while you're doing that, if you want to go around the outsides with some more Distress ink, now's the time to do it while you're waiting for that hull reinforcer. There we go. And we've not added any matte medium or any kind of glaze over the top of this. It's literally just the paper and the cardboard. So if you want to add some on at a later date, maybe a bit of crackle, then you can do. Okay, so I think because I've got Europe on the front there, or on that one there, I think that's going to be my front, and because I've got that little bit of a bleg on the back, or on that one, I'm going to make that one into my back one. So I'll just grab the label, again I'm just going to add a little bit of distress ink. Time I got a new foam, I think, for this. And then I can add some glue. And then I can stick that. I think I'm going to put it about there, just at a slight angle. Okay, I'm going to leave that to dry for about a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes or so, and in the meantime I'm going to go make a nice cup of coffee. So I'll be back in a few minutes. All dry. But while it was drying, I thought to myself, well, seeing as I'd already printed out the other sheets for the tag journal, I may as well use one of them. So I lined the inside as well and just used a couple of the hole reinforcers and done exactly the same thing again. So I just cut them out, glued them down, trimmed them, and then went round with the distress ink. So now I've actually got fronts and inside, front, back, and the two insides which match. Didn't take much at all. So the last thing I need to do is, well, one of the last things I need to do is to match up or to punch out my centre holes. So to do that, I'm just going to use my crocodile. There we go. It doesn't matter too much if you're not 100% perfect or bang on with this, because you can just go over with a little bit of distressing just to hide if you've just missed slightly or misaligned slightly. So just line up and punch through. There we go. It's just up to, I always make sure that I clear any debris from the holes on my crocodile after I've used it. Right, so just to go around the inside, I've got a distress marker, vintage photo distress marker, and I'm just going to run that on the inside. See, that's a little bit out on that one, so that's okay. I'll just disguise that with a little bit of marker and it's all gone. And then just run that on the inside. Turn it over, and then if I've got any grunge, I can just go around the edge. All done, all disguised. So that's it. That is my tag journal covers, outside and in. So all I have to do now is just to put a book ring through it, and then we're ready to rock and roll in the new year. There we go. So that's the one I've used, or those are the two that I've used in previous years. So I've now got a third, which is just as sturdy. But because I've actually got one of these plastic templates for it, I might actually use that and just put it on the front just as a protective cover. That way I've always got my template, but you can just use your back cover as your template to create your pages or your substrate for whatever tag you want to create. So template and covers all in one. So I'll just move those to one side and just bring back the other two, or the last remaining of those tag covers that I've got, because obviously I've used the other two. there and there. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching that. Don't forget, this tag cover Digi download is available to purchase now. So if you want to create yours in readiness for the new year when I start doing my tags again, then that will be great, because we can have matching tag journals. Marvellous. But of course, please feel free to customise to taste. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. I like that. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.